Hey there, Bear Club! At the Mama Bear Initiative, we explore how to protect ourselves so we can protect our cubs, the people who depend on us. Join us and get the confidence you need to stay safe, make good choices, and protect yourself and those you care about. Let's go!
Hello and welcome to the Mama Bear Initiative podcast. I'm Stephanie Dunham.
I'm Evelyn Mason.
I'm Rochelle Knapp.
I'd like to thank you for joining us on this podcast episode. And this is our first attempt at a real video podcast recording.
Yes.
Yeah.
Brand new. A little scary.
Well, yeah,
a little
looks
exciting.
Yeah.
A bit of growing pains.
I apologize for the glasses issue. Like every pair of readers I have reflects everything. I need them to see what I'm doing. I need them to see what I have written here. So I'm sorry, it's gonna have to be a little weird until I figure that out. Or maybe I can just take them off and put them on. Who knows?
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. Okay. So we thought, because this was our first attempt at a real recording, that we would review our first year of running a podcast. I feel like we should do like some confetti mazel tov.
Can you edit that in later?
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. The Riverside FM software doesn't allow for much in terms of gifts or whatever. Who knows? Maybe I can add that in. All right. So we want to talk about some things. We have a whole list. We want to talk about what it's been like, what went well, what didn't go well, upcoming changes, making reels, our mission, and our new company development. Because we will no longer be the Kintsugi company. We're headed into new territory. So, yep, we'll talk about that later. But right now, we're going to talk about what it's been like to do a podcast. Anybody want to go first?
I think initially, it was just weird. Like it felt like being on stage or whatever. And it felt a little bit like, oh, now it matters what I say, and I have to choose my words carefully or whatever. It just felt a little nerve-wracking at first.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But then, we get to talking. We're talking about what we're talking about, and you kind of forget about the cameras. Or not the camera. There was no camera. Forget about the mic. Forget about that. And just, get into the conversation. I think it got easier as we went along.
Yeah, like all things, there's like a sense of, I don't know, we don't know what the heck we're doing.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, we had to figure this out. Now, obviously, we did look to the internet for some help. We looked to YouTube, read articles, listened to other podcasts, try to get a feel for what they're like.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of things that went into it, like choosing some music. That was mainly my mission.
Yeah, that was fun, though. That was a fun process.
I had to listen to a lot of music, although I did come across one pretty early on. I was like, I really like this one, but it's $80.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what I thought was funny about that is like, so you're like, well, here's some free ones. We're all like,
Yeah, they weren't that great.
Here's the $80 one. We're all like, ooh. Actually, if we buy it, can we keep it forever? Is it our child?
You can. It's our
Is
child.
it our child?
And it was, and it is.
Sort of. I mean, we're licensed to have the child. Indefinitely.
Oh my.
There we go. It's never going to leave home. We're never going to have the empty nest thing,
right?
Unless we choose to kick it out at some point. So, yeah, that got weird.
Baby music does not grow up. It just stays the same age, right?
Yep. Never changes.
That's pretty funny. Yeah. So, we had to sort of develop a process, like being logical and having having a progress of a progression. I think that's the word I'm looking for.
That's the word. That's the
Yeah.
word.
Progression from this point to this point because we wanted to make a point. And
Yes.
it took us a while to figure out how to do that, but once we, like you said, Evelyn, once we kind of got into a groove, it sort of worked well for
Yes.
us.
Yeah.
And that's just how we do things. And of course, I do the editing for the audio, which sometimes is super easy and sometimes is kind of a pain. It sort of depends on a lot of different things. Like, for example, somebody in our group likes to breathe like Darth Vader.
I don't know that I like to breathe like Darth Vader.
Oh,
I
you're
just
gonna out
Darth
yourself?
Vader.
Oh, well, it's Rochelle, guys. In case you didn't figure that out, she's our.
I have congestion problems. I'm so sorry.
Well, I'm I guess you could say an audio technician at my church, and that means I'm paying attention to what things sound like. So when I'm editing the audio and I hear over top of someone talking, I'm like, oh man. And I have to go and find that little wavelength and I have to decrease it or mute it or something to not make it so obvious. Now, I've said in past conversations about this that maybe I'm just picky. Maybe it's not a problem. I don't know. But I don't like it.
Yeah. Yeah.
The thing I remember most about the very beginning was the jitters when we first started out trying to record and just feeling so nervous about it and having to figure out a way to deal with that.
Yeah.
So that was difficult. More difficult transition than I expected it to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Sorry.
Uh-oh. Family interruptions.
Sorry. Dog got in. Okay. She's in the care of my son now. She should be good.
All right.
Sorry about that.
I remember we started and restarted at least 3 of them early on where we're talking and does something not feel right to you guys or is it just me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got a few of those.
And then
we get off on these rabbit trails like unrelated. We're like, can we get back to the
or it just felt stiff or it felt not quite like we weren't jiving or gelling.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, I know for me, I was trying too hard.
Weren't we all?
Yeah.
By the way, I put makeup on my eyebrows so they're here and present. Because
mine are naturally dark. I don't have to do that.
Well,
really.
I have naturally dark eyebrows too, but I turned 54 this year, and for some reason, my eyebrows thinned out. So they're a lot
That's
lighter.
What happens.
And so I have to put stuff on them to make them look like they're actually on my face.
Yeah. I mean, I used to have lovely, very present eyebrows, but here we are. And as I was telling these lovely ladies, these are my 715 eyebrows that I put on for work this morning. And I'm now in a light that's making them look like they're barely there. But here we are. So
Rochelle's
hopefully
lucky.
you bear with me.
Yeah, I am
Rochelle,
looking
hers
that
will
way.
show up.
Yeah.
They woke up this way,
and she just
Well,
got them wax on Friday.
Yes, I did. They look very
they
nice.
look
And
very nice.
I do have eyebrow gel, so that helps too.
Yes, because you don't want to have unruly brows. There's no excuse
No
for
excuse
unruly brows.
That's true. And now that we're
Oh,
video
my gosh.
recording ourselves, we kind of want to have them tamed. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I
Unruly
don't wanna
brows are the
scare
worst.
anybody. So hopefully you guys are still here. You haven't been scared off by our eyebrows or anything
Or
we've
lack
said so far.
thereof. Yeah.
I will see about helping them to be more present next time.
I think overall, as we've moved through the year, because it's been about a year since we started, I feel like we figured out a way to do it. We used to do a thing where a phrase that Evelyn or a word that Evelyn coined called briefle throttle, and it's not spelled like it sounds at all. And we would spend about 5 minutes just talking to each other in the silliest way possible. Some of those made it to the internet, but most of them didn't. I still have them.
Yeah.
They're quite
Mhm.
funny as far as we're concerned.
Yes.
But it was
Darn
a way,
silly.
it was a kind of a way to sort of, calm us down and get us focused and
Mhm.
Yes.
allow us to feel like we could do this because I don't know, it's kind of a crapshoot whether or not this is worth doing. And
Mhm.
Yes. That's true.
are people going to listen? We don't know. We had a few people who listened to us. Thank you if you're out there.
Yes. Thank
Yeah.
you very much.
listening and
for
giving us
Thank
feedback
you.
because it really helps to know that what we're doing is being heard. And we've been told recently-ish, or at least I was told recently-ish, that video format might be better. So that's why we're trying this out.
Mhm. So hopefully, you're not scared off by our lovely faces.
By our lack of eyebrows.
Hey now,
Wait a
they'll be here
minute.
next
Well-
time, I promise.
Don't let Evelyn scare you off.
Sorry, guys. They're
or
there. They really
anybody's
are.
unruly eyebrows scare you off. If there are any unruly eyebrows, at least.
So this is what we look like, in case you've never met us in person.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so hi.
So I feel like I've learned a lot and I've grown a lot over the past year because we had to research our topics. We had to have
Mhm.
conversations
Yes.
about what we wanted to say.
Yeah.
We've, been doing what we need to do to understand what we want to talk about. And I think for some of us, the stuff that we learned, we had to apply to our own lives.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh yes, definitely. I've noticed there was definitely a correlation. A lot of times it was like right after recording, I'd start to do something, be in a situation and be like, huh, I know what to do because we just talked about this.
Yes.
So, we're not just out here spouting stuff off the top of our heads. We've had to live it. And
A good
it's
bit
been
of it,
good.
yeah, a good bit of it is past experience, but some of it is present experience,
Mm-hmm.
I would say.
Yeah.
And as usual, Rochelle's starting to stare off into space, thinking about what she wants to say.
I'm trying to make sure I keep looking at the camera because I find myself looking away a lot.
Well, now, so here's the funny thing with Rochelle. Now you guys will get to see it. Well, maybe depends on what she does, but
I
a
hope
lot of
not.
times it looks like she's just sort of zoning out. Like, Rochelle, are you with us? Are you falling asleep? She's like, I'm just thinking, And so,
And then Stephanie's like, would you please react?
Yeah. A couple of interviews we did, I'm like sending text messages. Rochelle, can you be in the conversation? She's like,
make it
she
sound.
goes, I'm just listening to what they're saying.
And forgetting that we're recording it at the same time.
And that it was just audio, so it's like Rochelle wasn't even there, unless she happened to be Darth Vader breathing.
Right. Now,
No,
Boy, I
she's
sure
still
am getting
here.
picked on a lot here.
it seems like we're picking on Rochelle, but we love her.
Oh, we
Just
love
as
her.
she is.
Absolutely. She's our little sister.
I get picked on too, so it's not just like all Rochelle.
True. And Evelyn does
Yeah.
too, for that matter.
Yeah.
So
Well,
There's enough picking on to go around.
true. Now, since we're speaking of picking on people, I do have to
Uh-oh.
bring up the shark incident.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
One of the most memorable moments of our recording career that you didn't get to hear.
Brought to you by our very own Rochelle.
We were talking about injustice, I think it was, and Evelyn and I were kind of
Yes.
bouncing back and forth. Rochelle's like this.
one of our earlier
And
recordings.
I know when Rochelle's about to say something because she'll suddenly do this and lean in,
Yeah.
take a deep breath, and she did all that stuff. And she starts talking about the sharks. And she's doing this. And talking about, she's thinking about it. She's talking about it.
She's very animated.
Very into it because Rochelle loves.
Very
First of all,
into it.
you should know Rochelle loves sharks ever since she was little. She got a shark
Yep.
book for Christmas, I think it was, or a birthday or something. and
Yep,
just
that was
like
it.
looked at that thing endlessly and
Till it fell apart.
till it fell apart. And she's talking about the injustices of sharks and like how they're hunted for soup for their fins and like I don't know. She mentioned Asians. Evelyn and I are sitting like catty corners to each other. We're
What?
like looking at it, each other, looking at Rochelle, and we're like,
She was,
I mean, it was about injustice, to be fair.
I'm like,
but she went on, and she was really into it. We're
5
like,
minutes.
dang, girl. I had no idea.
minutes.
Oh my!
I was like, okay, we've hit on something here.
It was incredible. So yeah, so then she finally stopped and we're like, what was that about? And Rochelle's like,
Oh,
well,
my.
you know, I just felt for the sharks. We're like,
Yeah.
I think we need to edit that out because it really doesn't have anything to do with what we're doing. It was
You know,
awesome.
and this,
I
yeah,
loved that moment.
it was. The sad thing about it was, she was so animated. I shouldn't say sad, but that we had to cut it, you know? She was really into it. It just
For
didn't
somebody,
fit.
out of the three of us, Rochelle is the calmest,
Mhm.
the softest,
Usually, yes.
the quietest. You know, Evelyn and I, especially when we're together, are really kind of obnoxious and loud.
Oh, yes.
And yeah. And yeah, so Rochelle is kind of the more laid back of the three of us. So she's, you know, being contemplative and quiet, and then she comes out with the shark
Mhm.
thing. It's all passion and fire, and we're like, ah,
I'm like,
sorry.
where did that come from?
Oh
Goodness.
my!
So, you know, all of this, you know, this learning curve we've been in. And there were times when I think, especially Rochelle and I, more so than Steph, would get off on tangents and we
Tangents.
just head down.
Or
And I
jump
was
ahead in the
like,
conversation to the
let's
wrong
go
question
back
or
to the
comment.
question.
Right?
Yeah.
So,
Thank goodness for our big sister to redirect us back to the right spots.
Yes. Now, just so you know a little about Steph, so she is not the oldest chronologically, but she is the eldest.
Yep.
So she's got that big sister.
If I'm not the oldest chronologically, but I'm the eldest, does that make me metaphorically the eldest?
Yes. We'll
I
say
didn't
yes
really
to that.
think about that,
Or
but
is
yeah, I
is there a
mean,
better word for
birth
that?
order. Birth
We
order.
could just call her Bossy.
Firstborn. You're a
I
firstborn.
am that.
There you go.
I am
Yep.
definitely that. I take that role very seriously, to everyone else's
Mhm.
detriment.
Well, I mean, I think it can be quite helpful.
I think it's more beneficial than detrimental, in my opinion. So
I know, but I've
Because-
gotten called bossy a lot in my life. Just saying.
who else would rein Ev and I in our tangents? So
Man, because Rochelle and I are like a couple of, well, we both have ADD. So it's
Yeah.
like,
Okay.
and Steph's over there going, okay, girls,
I do want to say,
pull it together.
if it isn't Evelyn and I bouncing back and forth, Rochelle and Evelyn are being little sisters together.
yes, we are.
That's the thing.
Yes.
Very much so.
And then especially like if we're traveling somewhere together, because we travel together once a week to our martial arts training, and then we also travel
Mhm.
once or twice a month downstate to do some other training.
Yeah.
If Rochelle's sitting in the front seat, which she generally is, because I have anxiety in the car
Unless you're driving.
unless I'm driving.
Yeah.
I sit in the back seat behind the passenger for my sanity's sake. Those
Mhm.
two will get talking and just keep talking the entire time, forgetting I'm back there, which generally is fine with me because I'm just back there like trying to like cope with my anxiety.
Yes. Yes.
You know, but yeah, so but then they get like with each other. It's kind of funny.
Yes, we do.
Unfortunately, though, when we are traveling, there'll be this voice from the back. Your turn's coming up. So
Yes.
that
I'm the stuff PS. The stuff PS. I give the turns.
yeah. It's like, oh yeah, there it is. Thank you.
Yes. And I'm gonna slip into my big sister role here. I'm gonna go to the next topic. What
Oh yes,
what
we do have a guideline, don't we?
we do. And we asked ourselves, do we want to take a half an hour or an hour? And we're like, whatever happens, happens. So this might be a
Yep.
whole hour. So what went well? What didn't go well? I feel like we kind of like talked about that a little bit, but we might have some more to say on that
Mhm.
topic.
For me, what has gone well is uncovering things I hadn't thought about in years, things I needed to heal from and grow in a little bit more, and things that we learned early on in self-defense that I had forgotten about
Mhm.
that at the time really helped me. And it's just helped me to think about those things as we were recording and remember them. I think that was probably the most important thing that's helped me and helped me grow as a person just through the recordings we've done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good one.
I think even, during our conversation, so as Steph had mentioned before, we always had the guideline, kind of keep us on track,
Yes.
Right.
keep things focused. But also while we were talking, like things would come up that would be related, not another, rabbit trail that really helped us to go deep. And that's one of the things we wanted to do. And I think we've succeeded pretty well is going deep into topics.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
stories would come up. Even in our prep time, sometimes the story would come up and Steph would be like, Rochelle, you should, share that.
Yeah.
So that we could really ponder things. I think being able to talk together really helped to bring a depth that, I don't think we would have had if we were trying to each do our own separate podcast.
Right.
Agreed.
Yeah. I think for me, the conversation definitely went well. I feel like the flow, like sometimes we would just, before we even started this, or even like when we were just sitting around, we'd start talking about something and get really deep into it. I'd be like, we should be recording this for other people to
Yeah.
hear.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I felt like for me that whole part went pretty well. And I really appreciate all the deep conversations, like Evelyn said. I feel like this has kind of boosted my confidence in a way to really be a voice about self-protection,
Yes.
to
Agreed.
be someone who's speaking up to
Yeah.
the world. Now, do we have a lot of listeners? No. Are we okay with that? Yeah. Who knows? It might get better later.
For the most part, yeah.
But we feel like it's our duty to say what we know, regardless.
Yeah. Agreed.
So what didn't go well, now I'm going to talk about the tech side because I am the tech person.
Yes.
In our group.
Yes, do please divulge. And I think a lot of people don't really understand unless they've done this sort of thing,
Right.
Yeah.
some of the tech
It's
stuff.
not
behind the
it's not
scenes.
plug and play. Not even remotely. Like we could plug our mics in and we can record ourselves, but then like we're talking about Darth Vader breathing or bumping the microphones or the heat coming on
Yeah.
or
Yep.
people walking around in the house, because we had been recording in my dining room, which is where I'm
Yeah.
at right now. And there's all sorts of things going on, and I was using some free software initially that I was looked up on the internet. What can I use?
Right. Oh, I remember
And
that.
it was a few months of like, oh my gosh.
This is
Yeah.
so horrible.
There was one episode that had the worst sounding recording. And I don't think it was just me being picky. I think it was really that bad. And it was super tedious. And I couldn't get the software to work right. And the software we're using to record just wasn't working right. And we had issues with microphones. We had all sorts of different iterations of things, trying to reduce noise. We tried different places. It ended up, it was a process to go through. We eventually ended up figuring out that my dining room table was the best place to record.
Yes.
Yeah.
We ended up purchasing software called Hindenburg Pro for a couple $100, which it was like if the initial software I used was kind of like Do you remember those cars in the 80s that were made by Yugoslavia?
Yes.
No.
The
Yugos.
Yugos.
Oh, the
Yep.
Yugo. Yeah, Yugoslavia Yugo. Yeah, I do. I do. They were.
That software was a Yugo, which it felt like.
If you guys don't know, Google it. Okay,
Hindenburg,
you'll see.
Yeah.
right. Hindenburg Pro felt like a Corvette, like a brand new Corvette. Everything was there. The recording was beautiful. I didn't have to do a lot to it. Obviously I had to fix some things as we went along, but it just
Yeah.
was like smooth and everything
Yeah.
was wonderful. And
Yeah.
I could do noise cancellation and other things to it, and it became pretty easy after a while to do that. And then so eventually became, so that was what didn't go well initially, at least until we figured it out, at least for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely, the whole learning process is, okay, that didn't work. I can still remember sitting in the room where we currently do our martial arts, which is, it has tile floors, it has, walls is kind of echoey. And we were trying to set up our microphones like at either end of this 8-foot table, and just trying to figure it out. And, all the way to, here we are. So I don't know. I think it's just, it was our process, it's what got us where we are now.
Right.
And, here we are.
Yeah. Rochelle, do you have anything for you that didn't go quite as well as you'd hoped?
I'm going to go back to the jitters again and the anxiety I felt about it at first, because sometimes I stumble over my words until you definitely told me just not to worry about it, because I was so concerned about sounding like I couldn't talk or something like that. And just remembering what to say, because I tend to forget things really quickly sometimes. That was a little rough for me for a while. And then I finally just accepted, it's a recording. There's going to be situations like that, but it's going to be okay. It's just natural. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Yeah, I think to remember that we're all just talking to each other. I think taking off the performance aspect
Right.
and to just share what's on our hearts and just be talking together.
Yeah.
Right.
I think it really helps us to relax and not sound so stilted.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now I have to bring up one of the things that we were told to do in various formats was to invite people to interview. So we've done two interviews so far. Our friend Clive and our other friend Jackie. And when it comes to what went well, what didn't go well, I'm not going to say our Clive interview didn't go well. I'm just going to say that it was way more information than I was expecting. It took us a little while to figure out what to do with it. Like, he just gave us everything, which was wonderful. And
yes,
we highly appreciated what he had to say. And but it was a lot. And we did do a full hour with him because he just had a lot to say. And we ended up breaking that up into 3 parts because we felt like to just split 1 full hour of that was too much.
Yeah.
2 half hours of that was too much. So we decided to go ahead and just break it into 3 parts, which worked out pretty well time-wise. And it sort of was enough information each time. Now, our interview with Jackie was very different. It was a full hour. We did break that into 2, but Jackie had a different take on things, and Jackie wanted to share her heart about a specific topic that was important to her.
Yes.
But that was more like a conversation. It wasn't as much as just, getting someone's, information from them.
Yeah.
It was different. Yeah, I don't know if I could classify either of those as went well, didn't go well. I wouldn't say that.
No, yeah, I wouldn't say so either. I think it's more as we're learning how to do this, so there again, with talking, bringing someone new in, what do they like? What do they have to offer? What kind of questions can, we ask them, and learning how to keep it flowing with, with another person in the mix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
And
I think
so,
I
yeah.
think that went differently with Jackie. I feel like the flow, because we had spent time with her in person,
Right. In
and
person.
we've been friends with her for a little while. So,
Yeah.
and Jackie's very personable and, was talking to us in a conversational style.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So, which reminds me, I believe it's next week, we are having our third interview with
Yes.
Michelle
Yes.
Manu, which is very exciting.
Yes. Very
Yes,
excited
it is.
Looking
about
forward to
that.
that. She's a very lovely person that I've gotten to know in the past couple of years. And I'm very excited to talk to her about the topic that we picked.
Yes.
Yeah.
Excited for that, definitely.
I'm not giving away what the topic is. You'll have to wait.
But yeah, so stay tuned.
Stay
It's
tuned.
coming and it's going to be good.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to upcoming changes is next on the list, but I think I'd rather talk about making reels before that.
Yes.
Okay.
Because that, again, whew,
Another
Huge learning curve.
Yep. Evelyn took the words out of my mouth. Huge learning curve.
yeah,
Yeah.
we've been doing it for most of a year, but we still have not figured it out. Like, we don't really
Nope.
I mean, it's
know what we're doing.
It's yeah. Well, I know, Rochelle started out doing our reels
Mhm.
and we had various iterations. There were some where Steph had come up with a video of different images and things, and some where
Mhm.
Rochelle was talking, and it
We
there
started
again,
yeah, we started doing like
Yeah.
actual self-defense videos.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And then we
That's how we
moved
started.
to like reacting to ourselves, which wasn't in our audio clips. Well, first we were just
Yeah.
doing
Yes.
audio clips, and then Evelyn was reacting
Right.
to our audio clips. And then we figured out that when we were just talking about a topic for 45 to 60 seconds, that was getting more interest
Mhm.
on TikTok, especially.
Yes.
So we've been
Right.
trying to, as I've heard people say, zhuzh this process.
Yes, love that word.
Trying
Yeah.
to figure that out, and I don't know how it's going. We're just doing it.
Yeah, I mean, it's learning, well, very much learning with a capital L. The algorithms, how they work, and using hashtags and keywords, and what to talk about, how long to talk about, how to talk about it.
Yeah.
There again, it's going into like, I want to be interesting, so let me move around a bit. Let me talk to the person. And
Yeah.
and Steph was asking me that the other day, is that how you talk to people? And I'm kind of like, sometimes, depending on the level of caffeine, but
Yeah.
but, learning how to to relate through reels. It's and we've had, the results have been kind of all over the place. Couple hundred to, there was one that Rochelle did that got a couple thousand, and
Yeah.
even the ones we
Almost
just
3.
put out,
Almost 3,000.
and that was remarkable. We're like, what little
like,
tide did we hit? What wave
why
did we ride?
Why did that work? For us,
Yeah. Why was
for
that
us,
a
that's
mini
about-
viral thing?
Yeah, because we get anywhere from 150 views to 800. Oftentimes
Yeah,
we
generally
average
somewhere in
around
there.
600 views on TikTok. The numbers on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook, I find a little confusing. Like, the actual views on the video itself is one thing, and then
Mhm.
there's like a panel of information that says something else that's more in the thousands. And I'm like,
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
don't even know what this means to tell
So-
how we're doing.
Right.
Yeah,
Very
so
confusing,
it's
for
very
sure.
much learning. Okay, that didn't work. Let's try this.
Right. And I think correct me if I'm wrong, but I think what we feel like is that what we're trying to accomplish is just say what we feel needs to be said. Again,
Yeah.
regardless of how many views we get.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
More so recently than in the past, we're starting to get comments, good and bad.
Mm-hmm.
Like, one of my videos on the topic that we didn't say was what I wish I could have told my younger self. But we said it in a way that was more like, this is what my life was like. This is what I learned, and I'm sharing it with you in the hopes that you can make better choices. somebody, and it's probably a scammer or a spammer or whatever, a troll, I think it was, somebody said, put
Yeah,
little laugh
that's-
emojis in the comments. Rude.
And it was a very serious video too.
Yeah.
It was like rude. Why would you do that?
Yeah.
And I was like, I couldn't help but laugh a little bit though, because I thought, well, we're getting attention, and just like other people do, we're getting trolls too. So
Yep.
Yep. Yeah, we got a long thought out comment Thanksgiving Day for
Yes, we did.
something on YouTube. And you know, we talked about it. We decided to do what we decided to do about it. But you
Mhm.
know, the thing was, I was feeling like, well, attention is attention, and I guess we should expect both kinds of attention if people
Yeah.
are actually seeing what we're doing.
Yes.
Yeah, I think
That's-
I think it's inevitable. You're gonna get basically it's gonna run the gamut, and don't be surprised if the trolls come out.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have to wonder if someone has a negative comment, if it's actually struck a nerve with them and they just don't like it. That's what I always wonder about. Because why would they react that way otherwise? Something about what we said has bothered them
Right.
in their personal life, maybe. You know?
Right. Yeah, or they're just fond of making fun of things, which this is what trolls do.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
true too.
and that's par for the course. So
Yeah.
yay, we're in the club of people who get that
Trolled.
attention too. Yay.
We get trolled.
Yeah. So, you know,
Yeah.
we're calling ourselves mama bears. We feel like
Mhm.
there's so much to know. We started out doing women's self-defense training.
Yeah.
I think it was 2016. No, 2018.
2019, I think, is when we officially started in the church, right?
We officially started, yes, but I started doing the training in 2018, January 2018.
Right. That's true.
We kept that up for a while, and we still do train some women, you
Mhm.
know, in a specific circumstance. But
Mhm.
after, I don't know, a couple years of trying, it just wasn't really getting anywhere. And we tried all sorts of things.
Right.
So we decided to transition to this, but the mission is still the same. That hasn't changed for me.
Yes.
I'm just
Not at
talking
all.
about it instead of actually trying to get people to come to my class.
Right.
So here we are
Yeah.
talking about it. And we've kind of gotten
think-
into all sorts of things. Go ahead, Rochelle.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was gonna say all of our topics have been interesting, I think, and we figured out ways to make them relate to self protection and self defense,
Mm-hmm.
because there's so much to it. There's so much to unpack and talk about in that sense, and I never really thought there was until we started doing the podcast.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, all right. Do we have anything else to say about the reels? I'm trying to look at this. It's not
Without
working.
your
I
glasses.
gotta put my glasses on. Okay. Do we have anything else to say about making reels? We're gonna keep doing it.
Yeah, we are.
Still figuring out what works. I would say we're still,
Mm-hmm.
learning.
Yeah. Still on. I mean, we're reading things. We're watching videos. We're taking courses on what's that thing called?
Skillshare.
You know, we're trying to figure it out. It's not like we're just
Yeah.
throwing spaghetti at the virtual wall and seeing what sticks. Although there is a bit of
Virtual
that
spaghetti
going on.
virtual wall.
Virtual
sometimes.
spaghetti though, not actual spaghetti.
No one wants to clean that up,
No one
so
wants-
it's just virtual spaghetti.
Yeah, no one wants to clean that up. I'm going to take a drink of water because my throat's feeling a little
Yeah, me
good
too.
idea. Let's all take a drink of
water
water.
break. All right. So let's talk about upcoming changes. I'm not sure what I meant by that when we put that in the list.
Well, I guess the first most obvious one is we're trying video,
Yeah.
which is the first time we've
Oops,
done
I just
that.
bumped
So
my mic. Sorry about that. Yes.
Yeah.
Upcoming changes. Trying out video as a format. See how it goes.
and I think it's pretty exciting and different. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be a different kind of learning curve for me now. Once again, trying to figure out software, how it functions. And I did take a bit of time to look at Riverside's editing software online, and it's pretty basic. It's adequate, I'd say, but it's pretty basic. I do have one other software that I use called Filmora that my son turned me on to. It's got all the bells and whistles. And I was talking to my my personal trainer Mike today about it, and I said, I've got the Riverside FM available to me, and I have this Filmora with all the bells and whistles. I said we may just stick with this for a while, and then if we feel like we want to get fancier with the edits, we could switch to Filmora later. Personally, I kind of want to stick with what's simple.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good to work with, something simple to begin with. We can always level up, as it were.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah. And I worked last week on making kind of an intro, and I was trying to make it too complicated. Which is how I usually start out when I'm creating something. I get really complicated, and then I'm like, what am I doing? Let's do something simple. Like, what's out there that, and this came off of Filmora. I found something that worked, and it just something really simple, and I sent it to Rochelle and Evelyn. They're like, oh yeah, that's cool.
So
that's
simple. It's cool. Good.
It might be on the nose, but who cares?
I mean, at least we're not, confusing if we're on the nose, People will know, as opposed to what?
Yeah, any other upcoming changes? Do you want to talk about the company change, somebody?
Well, we are now an LLC, and we changed our name from Kintsugi to, let me see if I can get this right, Mamoru Initiative LLC.
So we need to talk maybe a little bit about what Mamoru is.
Yes, go ahead, Evelyn.
Mine goes blank. Protector, Japanese. It helps, Stephanie. You're my only hope.
All right. So Mamoru is actually a Japanese word, and it means protection. We thought about different things. There were some things that we tried, and we tried Mama Bear Initiative. We tried our initials. Is the dog back in the room again?
Yeah.
Do they know you're recording?
Ronnie does.
Okay.
And he was supposed to keep the dog with him.
Okay.
Sorry, guys. Should I go?
You might want to. I mean, as long as she doesn't start barking all of a sudden, it should be fine.
She's just chilling on the bed right now.
Hopefully she'll stay that way. I know your dogs randomly bark at things, and there's no understanding of what it is.
Yes, and it can be like
the molecules in the air suddenly shifted and she barks.
Yes, I will be there again. Talk about a learning curve. I will be better prepared next time. My eyebrows will be in attendance, and the dog will be out of the room.
Yeah,
and everyone will be informed.
Recording written on the door.
Yes, I will do all of that, all of the above.
Anyway, so we tried a bunch of different things. Our initials, what was the one you came up with, Evelyn?
Oh gosh, let me think. It was
one of them was SRE, I think.
SRE,
initiative.
Yeah, like SRE Initiative.
And we're
so Stephanie, Rochelle, Evelyn.
Yeah, we're like, are people gonna? I mean, they're gonna ask us what Mamoru is, but I don't know. It feels like it's a Japanese word for protection that we're using. Feels better than it's just the initials of our names.
Yeah, definitely.
Because when this particular word Mamoru is something that there's depth there. It speaks more to our mission and what as opposed to these are our initials, aren't we clever?
Right.
That could be for anything, could be if you're a brick making company, I don't know.
Right.
That's true.
Right.
So
so it's become official. The paperwork is done. We'll have to pay taxes as a company, et cetera, et cetera.
Yay.
Yes.
Yeah. That's one change. Is there any others that you know of? Because my mind's drawing a blank. I don't. Other than the videos
don't
and
think we-
Mamoru.
Yeah, those are the biggies. I can't really think of anything else offhand.
No, I don't think there's anything else right now.
All right. So our mission. What is our mission? As I mean, it started as one thing. It seems to develop into something different, or at least modified. And I'm getting blank stares.
I
Do, 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 do.
I think
Buffering.
um well, in my mind, our mission is to educate people on the importance of safety and self-protection. Something that we're all very passionate about.
Yes.
Mhm. And empowerment.
Yes, definitely. Equipping people,
Mm-hmm.
Bringing out of like a victim status to, it's going to sound corny, but overcoming
Yeah.
obstacles, being equipped to protect ourselves so we can protect those in our care, something that we say, but
Mhm.
it's something we really feel strongly about.
I don't think there's anything corny about that. I think it's important.
No, I don't think it's corny
Yeah.
either. I think it's, I think for myself, one of the impetuses was hearing stories from people where something happened to them and they didn't make a choice to protect themselves.
Yeah.
And they
Yes.
could've. And,
Yes.
and I feel like I need to tell people what they can do.
Right?
Yeah. Because
So important.
it's not necessarily innate. People don't necessarily just know these things.
Right.
Right?
And the things that we've learned, the things that we understand and through our own experiences and seeing what's happened to people we care about, or even just a story, stories that really hit home,
Mm-hmm.
real people who were not equipped, to make good choices. So
Yeah.
it just really stirs up within us, how
mama
can
bear.
we help? What can we say?
Yes.
Protection.
Yes, for sure.
That protection,
Yeah.
the
Sure.
desire to protect through knowledge
Mm-hmm.
and through, educating.
Yeah.
Yes. Because there's so much that we take for granted in our lives we don't think about until something happens, and you don't want to be in that. Ideally, you'd not be in that situation because then it could be too late,
Mhm.
and then you don't have a chance to change anything that's happened. So it's important to know what to do ahead of time.
Mhm.
And there's so much more to it than just learning how to fight. That can certainly be part of it, but there's so much more to
Yeah.
it than that.
Right. Yeah. Now, one of our missions as a group, now our podcast isn't necessarily related to the specific mission, but Mamaru Initiative is directly related
Mhm.
to this one specific mission that we've mentioned a couple times, where we've been connected to a anti-sex trafficking
Yeah.
ministry in the southern part of our
Mhm.
state. We have been training 2 staff members for the past couple of years to
Mhm.
protect themselves, protect their girls, because they will be taking in girls.
Yeah.
12 to 17, and they're hiring staff now. The property is ready, and
Mhm.
they're
Yep.
just getting the people in the door to support these girls, and we have a role in that.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's one of the upcoming things. So what is our role? Anybody want to take that?
We are training them to protect themselves and to protect the girls. And then when the girls are finally there, we'll teach them, hopefully, as well, to protect themselves from
Yeah.
future danger.
And a lot of
Possible
it
future
is,
danger.
it's one of the things that that's foundational in what we're teaching is self-worth,
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
that you're worth protecting. Everything we do seems to come back to that core principle, because if we can help people understand you are worth protecting,
Mm-hmm.
then everything else flows and they're willing to, do what it takes to become equipped.
Right.
Physically, mentally, emotionally, So being able to partner with them to work with the leadership and then with the girls. It's an honor.
It is.
It's like a divine responsibility.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm particularly excited about this. We've been waiting a little while for this to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel strongly called, especially given my past, and what I've been
Mhm.
through, and all the healing I've received in the past, 35 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That I have something in a mama bear sense to offer young girls through kindness and compassion and just being there with them, to
Yeah.
offer
Mhm.
and help them, hopefully, like Rochelle said, to help them, I think Evelyn said it, understand their self-worth,
Yeah.
to
Yes.
make choices in the future for themselves that will result in good things, to avoid going back to certain kinds of things. And if they
Right.
do get
Yeah.
caught in a situation, to defend themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Hopefully, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's one of our goals. Yeah. I hope at some point we could potentially offer self-defense classes again. But I'm not sure that that's ever going to happen. But maybe.
Yeah.
It's hard to say, you know. I mean, we've seen a lot of changes in the last few years. It'll be interesting to see, you know, what changes are coming
Mm-hmm.
that we don't know about yet, you know.
Yeah.
But we're
Yeah.
certainly open, you know.
Right. Yeah. So we've been at this 51 minutes, so almost an hour.
Wow.
Yeah. We do have our company development, but again, I don't know what I meant by that.
I mean, yeah, it seemed good at the time. Yeah. What did we mean by it? Well,
Yeah, I
think
had
we've touched on
some idea, but I don't remember what it was.
if it'll come to you later. Wake up in the middle of the night. Oh yeah, back to sleep.
Right. Oh well.
Hopefully back to sleep at least.
Stay tuned. That might be in a future episode. Who
Who
knows?
knows? I think I think one thing I'd like to say is that I feel really grateful for the ability to share my heart.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I feel grateful for this group, these, all of us together.
Yeah.
Everybody's got their own take on things, their own perspective, their own stories. And I
Mhm.
feel like, we've been through a lot together. I feel like we've really bonded strongly
Definitely.
together. And our partnership, which is basically what we've formed through Mama Roo Initiative, is a partnership.
Yes.
I believe it'll grow. I believe God will honor it. And as we continue to
Yes.
fight through
Agree.
things that get in our
Mhm.
way, that we'll be able to do greater things.
Agreed. Wholeheartedly.
Yeah. Do you guys have any
Yeah.
final thoughts you want to share about this?
I'm just excited to see what happens in the future. I'm hoping this video format brings us more viewers and creates an audience for us so we can just continue to do what God wants us to do on our mission and really get the word out for the importance of this, everything we've talked about over the past year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I really feel passionate about it. It took us a while to figure out if it was actually something we're supposed to be doing, and once we did,
Mm-hmm.
it became clear the importance of it. Even if right now we don't have a big audience, we don't know what the next year is going to bring, and I'm just excited to see what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I echo those thoughts, and I'm excited to bring our viewers along with us.
Yeah, because we'll be viewers,
We're-
not just
we're-
listeners.
Yes.
I say we'll have
Yeah.
viewers. We're not the viewers.
Yes. But yeah, so grateful for this and for everybody who has who's listening and watching and who will be coming along. We're excited for what the future holds.
Yeah. So thank you for joining us today. We hope that you enjoyed what we had to talk about. Again, this is our first time officially trying out this format. You can
Mhm.
let us know what you think. Did we nail it?
Yes, please
Are
do.
we kind of sucky? Tell us what you think.
Hopefully not sucky.
No trolls.
Yeah.
Be honest.
Trolls, go away. We don't want
Be
you.
gone. Trolls be gone.
Trolls, be gone.
Honest input is welcome.
Yes. Honest feedback is welcome. We'll again be interviewing Michelle Manu next week. So today is December 9th. So we'll be interviewing her December 16th.
16th.
This video is probably going to come out next week on Monday, which is our usual upload day. Hopefully I can get it together by then. We'll see.
Yeah.
Again,
Yeah,
I'm on
you've
this
got audio and video.
steep learning curve for me. Thank you.
Woo! Yes.
Yeah, I enjoy the tech stuff. It doesn't frighten me, but it is a bit of a headache if I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, makes sense.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Anyway, so I'd like to thank you for joining us today. I'm Stephanie Dunham.
I'm Evelyn Mason.
I'm Rochelle Knapp.
Yeah. Have a great day.
See you guys.
Bye, Bear Club.
We hope you enjoyed today's episode. Thanks so much for joining us as we discussed such an important topic. We hope you got some food for thought and encouragement to keep going and keep growing. See you later, Bear Club.